Yo, 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 yo. Shalom, shalom. Let's pull up that Apocrypha.
What we get into?
So last week we went into the things you should be ashamed of. Things you should be ashamed of. So I'm thinking we're going the other side of that, starting it off in Sirach chapter 42, where it talks about the things you should not be ashamed of. And yeah. We could read the whole the whole chapter, honestly, but we'll kind of let that go off the spirit. We got the mighty soldier, Prince Malachi, Shalom King. Shalom. So yeah, just a quick little something slight.
Yeah, cause I gotta go. I gotta be somewhere at 4.
I'm trying to be somewhere at 4 also.
Okay, cool. That's perfect. And it's only 25 verses in here. Of course, we ain't gonna rush through these things, but you know what I mean. It's not a lot.
You know what I'm saying? We got the honorary soldier, or member, I should say, Chihuahua, Shalom King.
Shalom.
So we read Sirach chapter 41 last week. If you missed it, go back and watch it. I believe we started at verse 16. It says, my children. Okay, I'm going to read this in the KJV.
No, we started at the top.
We started at the top. We read that. We started at the top.
We started at the top of that joint.
So we read the whole chapter of Sirach 41.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we did. Looking at it.
He's looking at it.
Verse 16 was kind of what I wanted to get into, though.
Yeah.
It says, therefore, be shamefaced according to my word, for it is not good to retain all shamefacedness, neither is it altogether approved in everything. Verse 17 says, be ashamed of whoredom before father and mother, and of a lie before a prince and mighty man. So when you read down, it starts listing off things you should be ashamed to do. Things you should be ashamed to do, right? It's things where you want to be shamed-faced in. But there's some things where you don't have to be ashamed to operate in certain manners, right? So we're going to actually read into it. If you missed Sirach 41 breakdown, go back to last week. It should be Through the Spirit, number 47. So go on to chapter 42. Look at how it kicks it off. It says, of these things be not thou ashamed, and accept no person to sin thereby. So you don't have to be ashamed to do these things. It says, of the law of the Most High and his covenant. So you should never be ashamed of the law of the Most High and his covenant. A lot of brothers, they'll be ashamed when they first come into the truth to, not go to certain holidays. You know what I'm saying? Some people would be ashamed to not celebrate Mother's Day or, Christmas or wearing fringes. Brothers be ashamed showing up and he kind of got his fringes on. Don't be ashamed of that. That's the laws of the Most High. It says, and of judgment to justify the ungodly. It says, of reckoning with thy partners and travelers, or of the gift of inheritance of friends. So I'm going to touch on this first part. Don't be ashamed of reasoning with partners and travelers. Like earlier, me and Malachi was on the phone and we was discussing a certain payment. And don't be ashamed to get down all the way to the penny. You know what I'm saying? Or if I owe Malachi $1.78, he don't gotta be ashamed of like, hey, bro, you owe me $1.78 because that's what I owe him. You don't have to be ashamed of that, right? It says, or of the gift of the heritage of friends. I want to see what the GNT say about that one. Oh, no, 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 no. Sharing expenses with a business partner or a traveling companion. Sharing an inheritance. Okay. I guess I can see that. Don't be ashamed of sharing an inheritance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hell, we
Uh,
talk about that sometimes.
say it again.
So hell, we talk about that sometimes
Go into it when we talk about that.
about getting land together.
Okay, yeah. Got you. Hey, and you can exact that thing to the T. Like, let's say I put up 60% of the money. I could get 60% of the land. I don't have to be ashamed of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's at verse 4, it says, the exactness of balancing weights or of getting much or little. So don't be ashamed to be exact in business. It makes things far less complicated whenever you just do things in its exactness. You know what I'm saying? Don't be ashamed. If a nigga owe you 50 cents, you can tell him, hey, bro, you owe me
Hey,
50 cents.
you know Jake going, damn, you finna trip over 50 cents?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy.
You don't you don't have to be ashamed of that. If you need that 50 cents, I mean, even if you don't need it, it's yours. It belongs to you. You can exact of that. Especially when you're doing business. Let's say you buy a pound of what would somebody a pound of carrots? I don't care. A pound of something. You can charge exactly how much that you can weigh up exactly a pound. You know, sometimes I'll go to the meat market and I tell them I want 2 pounds of this. And when they weigh it up, it won't be exactly 2 pounds. But if we wanted to, either one of us could be like, no, I want exactly 2 pounds. You don't got to be ashamed of that. Anyways, and of merchants and different selling of much correction of children. This is a good one. Don't be ashamed to correct your children a lot. Don't be ashamed of that. Right? We're going over things you don't need to be ashamed to do. So sometimes it's a shame to kind of correct your children in public. Sometimes it's a shame to whoop your children, especially in this society of the world. You know what I'm saying? People kind of will look at you weird if you whoop your children or if you say you whoop your children behind. We reading the Proverbs, we reading the wise sayings of the ancients, and they saying like, don't be ashamed of it. So I'm not. It says, and to make the side of an evil servant to bleed. So if you got a servant, they not doing what needs to be done, you can beat the hell out of them, right? It says, sure keeping is good where an evil wife is. So if you got an evil wife, a busybody wife, a rebellious wife, sure keeping, meaning paying close attention, nickel and diming. I mean, just watching her every move. You know what I'm saying? Just having a tight grip on her. You know what I'm saying? Watching her behavior, examining her closely, making sure she's not doing stuff she's not supposed to be doing. Right. And that's not just with a wife, that's with a daughter too. You know what I'm saying? Sure keeping is good where an evil wife is, and shut up where many hands are. So it's kind of elaborating on the same thing. So you can, let's see what the GNT say. It's really just taking care of business. Don't be really loose with these kind of things. Verse 5, making a profit, whether great or small, bargaining with the merchant, disciplining your children, beating a disloyal slave until blood flows. It is wise to lock things up if you cannot trust your wife, if too many people are around. This is okay. I like this one. So let's say you got multiple people in your household. I lived in these positions where it was like 14 people in a 3-bedroom house, 4-bedroom house, 12 people in a 4-bedroom house. And it's a lot of hands. It's a lot of people in the household. Like people locking up their food here. People got, you might have a little section where you put your snacks and stuff. People will have their money ducked off here. Don't be ashamed to put certain stuff up where a lot of people are around, right? So that's one example that I could give. You know, you got anything on that?
Nah, it's like I don't. It's pretty plain.
Verse 7 says, deliver all things in number and weight, and put all in writing that thou givest out or receivest in. So when it comes to doing business, this is a good thing to do. Document it, write it down. All this is a receipt. It's good to have receipts. It's good for assurance, right? I paid you this much. Like Malachi, when I paid you, you'll see, like whenever I was holding on to some of Malachi money, I'll send them whenever something happens or something happened. I'll send the receipt like, hey, we spent this much here, boom, boom, boom. Just so in the future, we'll have those receipts. You know what I'm saying? Don't be ashamed to do that. You know what I'm saying? My memory is, it can be really good. It can be very bad too. You know what I'm saying? Time and chance. You know what I'm saying? You just want to be prepared. It says, be not ashamed to inform the unwise and foolish. So if you got someone who is not wise, someone who is foolish, don't be ashamed to inform them. Does that mean you got to go in there and cut their damn head off every time? No, but you can inform them. You can entreat them. You know what I'm saying? Or you can rebuke them. It says, and the extreme age that contendeth with those that are young. Thus shalt thou be truly learned and approved of all men living. So don't be ashamed to inform the unwise and foolish, even if they're your elder in age. Even if they're your elder in age, don't be ashamed to inform them. Don't be ashamed to entreat them. Now you got different methods. You got to know the times and what time it is. Most of the time, rebuking someone who's older than you, loosely speaking, it's probably not going to be the best way to go about it, because we know the social norms. The younger are supposed to do what? Respect and honor the elders. That's why Paul gave his recommendation on how you deal with older men. And let's read that real quick. It's 1 Timothy chapter 5 and 1. 1 Timothy 5 and 1. Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger men as brethren. So whenever you got an older man, this is your elder in age. He might not be your elder in wisdom or in the truth, but he's your elder in age. So there's a certain kind of respect that you still got to show. There's a certain level of humility that you still should try to show. So instead of rebuking him, maybe inform him and entreat him, like give him the information without disrespecting him. That would be a better play for someone who's older than you, generally, especially if they upper in age. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to be heard. And when you get to be an older man, you want the younger generation to show you that same kind of respect. So, you know what I'm saying? This is just the basics, the intro to giving, to informing the unwise. That's a basic fundamental you got to have. If you plan on being a teacher, you got to understand these certain intangibles or you just got to understand these things, right? We're not going to get too deep because I'll try and make it real deep. Anyways, thus shalt thou be truly learned and approved of all men living. So this is kind of how you get your stripes. This is how you get your rank up, by informing the unwise and the foolish. It says, the father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth. It says, in the care for her taketh away sleep. When she is young, lest she pass the flower of her age in being married, lest she should be hated. So the first part, I actually had a good experience of understanding this. And I'm not going to get into the details of it, but this is how it is. Whenever this is a real thing. If a man has a daughter, if, you know what I'm saying, she might be courting a man or she might just be given away in marriage, the father will kind of stay up thinking about his daughter. because he cared about her well-being. He cared about her emotional stability. He cares about his daughter. He loves her. That's his daughter. And it could take away sleep. The second part, I'm actually not super familiar with. So I'm going to see what the GNT has to say. She is a virgin. He worries that she might be seduced and become pregnant while living in his house. Okay, I can see that. If she is married, he worries that she might be unfaithful or that she might not be able to have children. Okay, a lot of worries when it goes into dealing with your daughter. Her having a baby before, the said time, having a baby in his household, or her. I can see this in the ancient world. Because nowadays, if your daughter can embarrass you and ruin your name, your family reputation. You say you worked your butt off to become a decent household clan name in a specific city in the ancient world. They know your family. Oh, you come from the house of Mahar. They're a good family. But then your daughter committing adultery, and she being the whoremonger, she a whore, is going to ruin your name. It can ruin your name in a city. There's blots and blemishes all on your family name. You know what I'm saying? Imagine giving your daughter over to China, because you'll establish certain alliances through marriage, right? People still practice this today. You will establish certain alliances and strategic, like financial strategies through marriage, political strategies and things through marriage. Anyways, let's say you marry your daughter. Say you got a beautiful daughter, and you kind of on the radar of this city, and you trying to work your way up and become more powerful in this city. You give your beautiful daughter to a family that's way more mightier in this city to obtain this relationship, and she's stinking it up because she committed adultery. She ruining everything. I can see why a man might stay up for a reason like that. Verse 10, it says, okay, that's what we read in the GNT. I'll read it for the sake of the KJV. In her virginity, lest she should be defiled and gotten with a child in her father's house, and having a husband, lest she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, lest she be barren. So we kind of already touched on this. So we'll go down to verse 11. It says, keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter. So as you can tell, they kind of not touching on the things you should be ashamed of, and they kind of the chapters kind of transition into how you should deal with a wife or how you should deal with your daughter, the father and daughter aspect. So that's kind of where the chapter is segueing, right? So verse 11, it says, keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter. So if she naughty, you gotta be on her bumper. You can't let her have that freedom, because if she got that freedom, we're gonna read it. Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter. So obviously, this is another thing. If you have a daughter, you can run your household how you want to. I suggest you listen to the wise words. But in a perfect world, if you have a good daughter, she knows she wants to do well, she's doing well. Do you have to put on the same amount of discipline, or you don't have to be as, what's the word I'm looking for, Aharon? You don't have to be a stickler about everything if you actually got a obedient daughter or an obedient son. You will trust them and trust their judgment. They'll have more freedom, more liberty, because they got good decision-making skills. But if they don't, it's gonna be more discipline. You're gonna be more on their ass. You're gonna be more watchful. You're gonna be on them like that. But if they earn this, then they can have that. Anyways, keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thine enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. So I didn't know that all of this was right here in great detail, but we kind of talked about this. You have a daughter, and she's thinking up your family name, right? She's making you look foolish amongst everybody. It says, behold not everybody's beauty, and sit not in the midst of women. This is a high scripture. So don't get caught up into everyone's beauty. It's not good. Because a lot of times men, this is one thing about men. Men love a beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? We love a beautiful woman. I think it tell you, I don't want to misrepresent the scripture. Anyways, we love a beautiful woman, but it's good to refrain yourself from them kind of appetites. Because if you give your mind over to just a woman's beauty, you can be seduced, right? She can seduce you and have you running out of your wits, like it's saying Second Ezra or First Ezra chapter 4, I believe. Right? Let me grab it real quick. Let's just grab it because some people might not know. So First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26. It says, yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. Many also have perished and have erred and sinned for women. So a lot of times men will run out of their wits, meaning they'll lose their damn mind. They start doing things, saying things that they have no business doing. They start killing people that's innocent. A lot of things can happen behind a woman. So if you got a beautiful woman and you're giving over to your appetite, meaning you're giving yourself over to her looks and you're just falling for her traps. Beautiful woman, she can obtain your power. Because this is how it's supposed to go. You get a wife, she becomes your possession according to the scriptures. We already know this, even in America, they act like this isn't a thing, but even how they structure it, it's supposed to be a thing. So in America, whether a man is married or not, you call him Mr. Smith. If a woman is married, she has a different name, right? She'll be Mrs. Mrs. mean that she belongs to her husband, Mr. Smith. Now, if she's a single woman and she's not married, you'll just say Miss, right? But you'll have the name Mrs. or I don't know what you would call it, the surname. Anyways, without getting too deep, you know that she belongs to one because she'll have a Mrs., right? Because she belongs to Mr. Smith. Anyways, that's just one thing in America that stood out to me on this whole topic about a woman belonging to a man. We know according to the scriptures, we'll get a scripture, Sirach chapter 26. No, Sirach chapter 36 and verse 24. It says, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and the pillar of rest. So if you get a wife, she is your possession. When you get a wife, she is your possession. What does that mean? She belongs to you. You own her. You are over her. You are her. She reports to you. Now she's your specific tailored helper. Anything you need help with, she's supposed to aid you in that. That's why you have a wife. She was created to aid you on any endeavor you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good precept. That's another. What you got?
I got a question.
What's up?
Since I own my wife, am I supposed to treat her like crap and toss her around and do all of that because I own her?
No, that's a foolish thing. Your wife is supposed to be your most valuable asset that a man can have. You know what I'm saying? She's the most valuable thing that you can have. Like the scriptures tell you that, you know how men value riches, they value money, their possessions. First of all, any guy, his possessions, he's not gonna let nobody touch him that's not supposed to be touching him. So it get very territorial over your belongings and the things that belong to you. You're not treating if a man is treating his own possessions like crap, then he got some stuff going on up here and he need to sort through them and learn. He need the spirit of the Most High. But no, you're supposed to love your wife like you love yourself, like Christ led the church. You know what I'm saying? It's levels to it. Come. Yeah, some women don't like that. But no, that's what you was created for. And if don't get mad at me, get mad at the Bible and get mad at God. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like how that sound, read the Bible. All right. So this is Psalms chapter 45 and verse 10. It says, "Hearken, O daughter, and consider and incline thy ear." So all of the women, they need to hearken, consider, and incline their ear. I mean, they got to listen close to what he's finna say. "Forget also thine own people and thy father's house." Forget your people and your father's house. So if you're a woman and you finna get married, you got to start making these changes in your head. It's time for you to forget your own father. You're not a part of his house no more. No more. Once you have a husband, you're called by his name, not your father's name no more. That's why another thing, when a woman gets a husband, what happens to her last name?
It changes.
It changes to what?
Whatever her husband's last name is.
Because guess what? You're not called by your father's name no more. You're called by your husband's name. So it says, "Forget thy father's house, so shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is thy Lord, and worship thou him." So this is in the Bible. Don't shoot the messenger. I come in peace. I just got to teach what the Bible tell me to teach, though. So
Right.
This is what you got.
That's why it's symbolism going on in the marriage festivities that take place today. This is why the father walks down the aisle with his daughter. He's walking down the aisle, and guess what? He now gives her over. Hey, buddy. He now gives her over to her husband, and that's what it's supposed to be. That's the symbology behind it. That's all.
Praises. Hebrew dollar shalom. Ahaziah shalom. Aryeh shalom, king. Man, she came to last camp. It was real powerful. Okay, Shawab dropped the classic. "Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroys kings." Right? We was talking about a man running out of his wits for a woman, doing dumb stuff because, he didn't fell for her beauty. You know what I'm saying? That happens. So, I got onto the topic of possessions and your wife becoming a possession. And you're literally the sole guider of her life, her spirituality. Anything that your wife owns, you own now. Why? Because your wife is your possession. So that means any possessions your wife have, you're over those, right? So a lot of men, they don't understand that concept. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not supposed to be like that according to the Bible. Your wife is supposed to bring an inheritance to her husband, right? According to the scriptures. Anything that she has. Why? Because she brings value to her husband. That's what she was created to do. She's supposed to add value to her husband. That's her job. So it's two things that a woman can really do. I mean, to her husband. She can either break down her house. She can devalue her husband. She can tell him bad things and spit bad things into his ear. She can be a bad wife, make him less motivated. She can bring him down in a number of ways. We see it all the time in America. Or she can be a pillar of rest. She can bring assets to her husband. Any power that she has, she can yield it and submit it to her husband. And now guess what? Her husband, he had 50 power. But now, guess what? He had a powerful, virtuous wife, and she had 30 power, and she gave it all to her husband. So guess what? The husband has 80 power now. That's how it's supposed to be. She brings value to this man. And guess what? This man got 80 power now. Guess what? According to the Bible, he can take another wife. And that wife, she had 25 power or 20 power. And she yields it and submits it to this man. Guess what? Now this man got 100 power. That's the value that a woman, she can literally make this man become a way greater man, right? That's the beauty of having a woman. But that woman can also have a 50 power man and her come in with unsubmission up, not being submissive, not being a pillar of peace, being a being a demon. And instead of him being a 50 power man, he can succumb all the way down. She can abate the strength and the courage of this man. She can make that man weaker. So whenever we talk about women, women have a very, 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 very important and powerful role when it comes to nation building. I mean, she's giving this man heirs.
It's a lot.
Go ahead.
We should go over that chapter in either first or second Esdras next week with Zerubbabel, which is the strongest.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, we should do that. I got it though.
That'll be fun. So let's do that. All right. So it says, behold, not everybody's beauty and sit not in the midst of women. So you got to be careful. You sit in the midst of women. Let's see what the scriptures say. Why would he say that? For from garments cometh the moth. So whenever you got garments and clothing sitting around hanging up, what happens? You got moths, and the moths, they will eat up them garments. They would destroy them garments. It says, and from women, wickedness. This is why a woman needs a hedge of protection. She needs her father in her life to structure her life, give her guidance, keep damn wolves from tainting her, keeping damn philosophy, keeping her on this straight and narrow path. Then that is being entrusted to the husband. That's why the man will go to the father and they orchestrate the marriage. And if he deems fit, he'll give his daughter away to him and entrust him with the damn salvation of his daughter, the protector of his daughter. You see what I'm saying? We all need this kind of guidance, but women need it from men. Men need it from the Most High, from Yahweh Shah. See what I'm saying? So, and kids need it from their parents. This is the pecking order shit. This is just a pecking order. I don't make the rules. I just go with them. I just follow them. It says, better is the churlishness of a man than a courteous woman. If you don't know what churlishness is, it kind of goes into rudeness. All right, let's get a quick definition. Churlishness, rude in a mean spirit and surly way. So better is the rudeness of a man than a woman who is over courteous. Men, you don't want that because it can brew up a lot of things that's not supposed to brew up, like adultery. Your woman overly nice. Let's say there's a man named T and he has a wife named S. And the man invites his friends over, and you got the woman, she's overly courteous and she kind of tending to the guest and she's being hospitable, but she's overly courteous. You know what I'm saying? And she kind of, do you need anything else? Do you need another glass of wine? And she kind of pouring it up in front of him, kind of bending over, giving them eye candy. And she kind of overly laughing at the brother jokes. And, they kind of eyeing each other. She walked back into the kitchen and she kind of look over her shoulder. That's too much. Because guess what's happening? It's damn spiritual fornication at work now. So it's better to have a nigga who being rude than a woman who's overly courteous, because she can lead a man on, or a man can just take a gesture the wrong way. And, it's wisdom in this. It says, a woman, I say, which bringeth shame and reproach. So that's going to be, if you got an overly courteous woman, what can come from that is shame and reproach, like adultery, like your whole household being destroyed. Right. So we get in the game. Right. This is recent game, too. This is from the time of the Greeks. This is not that long ago. This is recent game that we get from our ancestors. Right. So take heed. It says, I will now remember the works of the Lord and declare the things that I've seen. And the words of the Lord are his works. So now he's spitting. He finna declare the things that he's seen. It says, the sun that giveth light looketh upon all things, and the work thereof is full of the glory of the Lord. So the sun was created by, we know, Hamashiach, but ultimately all things is created by the Most High. And it touches everything. Everything needs the sun. The sun look upon everything. This is the glory of the Most High. He created a light that can feed the earth. You see what I'm saying? Plants literally need the sun to grow. This is the glory of the Lord. This ain't no Big Bang. No, this is the Lord doing stuff that he can do stuff like this. He can feed you with spiritual bread. He can feed you with the light. He do this stuff. It says the Lord have not given power to the saints to declare all his marvelous works. So all of his works in great detail, the Israelites we can't fathom every single thing that the Most High done. It says, which the Almighty Lord settled, that whatsoever it might be established for his glory. I'm gonna read a scripture right here in Deuteronomy in the law. It just made me think of this, because we can't fathom everything that the Most High do. There's so many applications to the wisdom. He might create one thing and it's in perfection. It perfects another thing, but it has many other reasons why it's there. It benefits everything. Everything is in perfect harmony. And for us to search it out and understand the great depths of every single thing, we'll never know. Like, people don't like being dirty. People don't like dirt. Like, even in the ancient world, we will wash our feet. We walking around in sandals, we wash our feet. But that dirt is needed to grow your food. People don't like dirt, but it's still, every single thing is needed. Everything is created for its purpose. Anyways, Deuteronomy 29:29. The secret things belong unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. So I go to the scripture that add scriptural evidence to the point I made. The Lord got things that we're not going to understand. And those are secrets that they belong to him. You're not going to get it. But then he gave us certain things that everybody else don't know, like how to serve him. He gave us these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? So there is certain gems, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that he did set on earth for us to search out, but he did set things that's not going to be searched out right now, right? And that's just the God we serve. He like that. Verse 18, he seeketh out the deep and the heart and consider their crafty devices. So this is what the Most High can do. He can search out the deep, the ocean. He can search it out, and he can search out the deep and the depth of a man's thoughts. That's why it says the second part, and their heart. If you've been around the Bible enough, you heard about the Israelites, you know without a shadow of a doubt, the heart is talking about your mind 9 times out of 10 in the Bible. It's talking about your mind. I always use this similitude, or this analogy rather, when a woman says, you broke my heart, Malachi, you broke my heart. You didn't really break her heart. You just messed with her mind. You had her thinking it was one thing when really it was another. So the Lord can search out your whole heart, your whole mind, what you think in your mind. It says, and he considereth your crafty devices. So he actually considers, and he can see what your crafty thoughts and your imaginations, your devices go into like your imaginations, the things that you meditating on. And crafty goes into like the sly or the cunning, you know what I'm saying? The bad things that you're imagining. He considering all of that. So when people always say this in Christianity, God knows my heart. That's the crazy part. That's the bad part. Yeah, God does know your heart. That doesn't mean you get brownie points all the time. That's a two-edged sword. God can know your heart, and you actually have a great desire to serve him. A just man fall 7 times, but he get back up again. The Lord do know your heart, but he also know your heart if you don't really give a damn about him. So that's the part that's scary. He knows. So Christianity run away with that, but that's really gonna get them cut up in the future. It says, for the Lord knoweth all that may be known. That's hard. And beholdeth the signs of the world. So the Lord know everything. And he beholdeth the signs of the world. And this could be interpreted multiple ways. The thing that my mind straightway go to, he beholdeth the signs of the world. He beholdeth the times, the prophecies, and when they're going to take place on earth. He holding on to that. He making all of that happen. It says, verse 19, he declared the things that are past and for to come, and revealeth the steps of hidden things. That's hot. This verse right here and how it broke it down, it make me more secure on how I broke this part down. And behold, the signs of the world, right? He talked about the past and the things that happened and the things that are happening now and the things that are going to happen in the future. It says, no thought escapeth him, neither any word is hidden from him. So any thoughts that you have, it tell you even the thought of sin, even the thought of foolishness of sin. Proverbs 24:9. Let's grab that real quick. Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 9. It says, the thought of foolishness of sin and the scorner is an abomination to men. Right? So this is a classic proverb. The thought of foolishness is sin. And this is why this understanding that Hamashiach came with in Matthew chapter 5. Let's grab it real quick. Let's go to 5:28, right? A well-known verse in Matthew 5. Matthew 5, verse 28. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. That's a good point to the point I made earlier with the heart. It said, if you look after a woman to lust after her, you have committed adultery already in your heart, in your mind. If you lusting after her, a married woman, you already committed adultery on the mental level. And that's a sin, right? We see this documented in the book of Proverbs before Christ hit the scene. So all Christ was doing was expounding on the law. That's all he was doing. He was expounding, giving a better understanding of the law and making the law more honorable, making the law more holy, making the law more noble, right? Did you want to say something? I heard you come off mute.
Yeah, real quick. I wanted to grab this precept in the law to go with the.
I'm gonna grab another one too.
Man, my bad. I was reading on mute. I was grabbing a precept, going with the thoughts in the law. Deuteronomy 15:9. Beware that there be not a thought. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, that thou givest him not. And he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be sin unto thee. So we see in the law that the Most High God is taking into consideration your thoughts, the thoughts of your heart.
What was that?
Deuteronomy 15:9. This is the precept I try to keep to show that it is a sin. But verse 10, it says, thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him. Because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works and in all that thou puttest thine hand to do. So, a lot of the times people like to say that Christ added to the law. No, he came to give understanding on the law. All of these things were already here. We just didn't see it. But that's all I had, Slugger.
I gotta write that down. That was hot. Deuteronomy 15:9. Yikes! What you doing with that, big bro?
Come on now, my boy.
Come on now, my boy. All right. Isaiah chapter 42, verse 21. It says, the Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. So the law is being magnified. The law has been magnified, right? We had the law. Now we're looking at it in a damn telescope, and we're seeing, damn, it's more things going on. It's more things we need to think about on a spiritual tip. We need to make sure we're not committing adultery Obviously, the law say that, but we need to make sure we walking in the spirit of that. We're not even just meditating on having sex with brothers' wives, right? He making the law more honorable, right? He even magnified the sacrifice. He magnified repentance. He magnified the penalty for breaking the law. He magnified judgment also. Everything was magnified, right? So anyways, going back to Sirach, verse 21. He have garnished the excellent works of his wisdom, and he is from everlasting to everlasting. Unto him may nothing be added, neither can he be diminished, and he have no need of any counselor. Bah, 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 bah. So they're just spitting. You know what I'm saying? Spitting. The Most High get to do whatever he want, whenever he want, however he see fit. From the beginning, from everlasting to everlasting. That's what it say. It says nothing can be added and nothing can be diminished. And he don't need no counselor to kind of, he don't need that. Verse 22. Oh, how desirable are all his works, and that a man may see even to a spark. Come on now. It says all these things live and remain forever for all uses, and they are all obedient. So all of the things that he created, the lights in the firmament, the waters on earth, the waters above the firmament, wind, anything you can think of, they obedient to the Most High, and they're gonna remain forever for all the uses he created them for. It says all things are double one against another, and he have made nothing imperfect. I'm gonna read this in the GNT too because it's hot. One thing establishes the good of another, and who shall be filled with the beholding of his glory. I read this in the GNT. It was a while ago, but I liked it. So I'll read it to y'all. It says, all things are in pairs, each the opposite of the other, but nothing the Lord made is incomplete. Bow, 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 bow. I seen this. I said, have you seen Jimmy Neutron? He hold his brain and he say, think, think, think. I had to meditate on this. I said, all things are in pairs and they have an opposite of another, but nothing is incomplete. I was just like, how did he do this? Like water, that's in a pair with fire. They're opposites of each other, but still, even when you don't have them right going together, they're still complete in themselves. Water is water, and it's gonna do its thing. It's gonna do whatever it needs to do. That just blew my mind. I was just like, even day and light, or excuse me, you got light, then you got darkness. Like, of course, you're gonna gravitate to like light most of the time. People like, yeah, I love, the sun, you know what I'm saying? But you literally need the dark. They're opposites of each other. You literally need the dark time. Plants you don't want to have the sun on noon all day beaming down on the plants. That'll be bad for them. Even humans, we need the dark. We need the moon. We need sleep. I was just amazed. I'm like, damn, this brother got it, man. He got it. It says everything completes the goodness of something else. Could anyone ever see enough of his splendor? Yeah, so this was me. I was confounded off the basics. I learned about fire and water a long time ago, but when you come into the truth, you get confounded again all over, like you're a child, right? So all praise to the Most High for that. That was the book of Sirach, chapter 42. You know what I'm saying? We getting out of here, bro. 50 minutes. That's pretty good, man, because we be in here for 2 hours, hour and a half every time. So, Aaron, you got any last words?
No, sir.
Khan. I like how brothers and sisters is active in the chat. Man, y'all go check out them latest videos. If you missed last week's lesson, go check that out. Next week, we need everybody that's here to be there next week because we're going to have a fun, exciting class. We're going to go over First Ezra chapter 3. Bro, we probably going to have to do First Ezra 3 and then do First Ezra 4 next time. Because First Ezra, them chapters is long.
Yeah, for real.
All right. So that's the plan. The water. I'm not an elder, but the water for the nice words. So anyways, the water for everybody that tuned in, Lord willing, somebody was edified. We're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.
God, shalom.